All right, let's get the thumbnail. Let's get it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, one more. 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. All right, let's get it. First of all, we want to say to everybody, welcome to the first episode of Champagne Delight. It's an interesting name. I know it's a name you probably ask, why Champagne Delight? Obviously, we got some mimosas on hand, because I'm not a champagne person, I'll admit. I'm Derek Rush, and I got my LB, my ace, Raekwon Richard. And this is gonna be the first of many episodes with a lot of different topics and a lot of different discussions here in this space. But going back to the name Champagne Delight, tell them where the name come from.
Yeah, if you went to school with us, that's kind of like part of my brand. It was a dream I always kind of had. Need some champagne?
Yeah.
Champagne?
Yeah, I was trying not to cut you off, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Appreciate it.
After we crossed, it's time to throw our first college party, and everybody's like, what's the theme gonna be? What's it gonna be about? And I was like, let's do an all-white, grown and sexy party, Call it Champagne Delight. We have bottles of champagne to be lit.
What happened?
Nobody was with it.
Nobody was messing with it at
all. Nobody liked it at all.
Nobody wanted it at all.
And even throughout, I was like, I'm gonna do it. So now, the party never happened, but you got the Champagne Delight podcast.
That's it. And we here. And not only are we here on the pod, but we here in corporate America now, bro. We graduated college, and we're in our career fields. I think that's something that's worth clapping up for, or giving a yeah, for sure. It's worth recognition because a lot of people don't take that next step. And I think that's a big thing to commend both of us for. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that for sure. But in that, you know what I'm saying? I've been in the corporate space for 2.5 years now. How long would you say, 2 years? A year and a half?
A year and some change.
Year and some change. I don't think I'm the same person I was when I got into it. Would you
Definitely
say that?
Not. Yeah, definitely not.
But stepping outside of the corporate space is also a lesson that comes in life. How much have you pursued mentorship, and how much do you rely on it right now?
Yeah, I have a lot of. I don't have one mentor, right? I view the world as my mentor, whether that's somebody who seems like they got everything figured out and they didn't live, or somebody who struggling along the way. My idea as far as learning from people, my pops used to say, I don't tell my pops a lot, but there's one thing that he said that he's always sticking with me. He would always say something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of like a dumb man doesn't learn from his mistakes. A smart man learns from his mistakes. And an even smarter man learns from others' mistakes. Right?
That's good. So, that's game.
Right. So I've always looked at it that way. Whether it's somebody who's here, I can learn from everybody, right? So even I learn stuff from you. There are things every day that you might say, that you might do, just me observing. And I'm like, I'm peeping game here. Let me learn from this. Or maybe it's somebody whatever, right? When I got locked up, I was only in there for a little bit. When I went to jail, there's people in there who was spitting game at me, and I'm learning from this. I don't care where you're at in life. I can learn from you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just view the world as my mentor, to be honest.
I asked that because I was gonna ask about, before I was just gonna ask about the mistakes,
Oof.
And the reason I ask about mistakes is because if you just asked me that question, on an overarching perspective, not just in corporate America, I would 1000% say that like my biggest teacher in life is all my mess ups. And the reason I say that is because I'm not as bad as a lot of people I've talked to and a lot of people I know, but I'm definitely somebody that's like has to the analogy of like you got to touch the stove to know that it's hot. I am that person. Like there have been and there's been plenty of topics of conversation that me and you have even talked about, and you done told me like, hey, bro, I'm telling you right now, like, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. It ain't nothing down there. It's a dead end. It's a dead end. And I'll be like,
you hard-headed sometimes.
I'm like, nah. Pops be telling me like, hey, look, I'm telling you, if you want to make demands, my dad used to say this. Shout out to my dad, man. When you talk about your dad, shout out to my pops. Shout out to Raekwon pops. But shout out, hey, you here?
You right, I'm here.
You here?
Okay.
All right. Shout out to Raekwon pops. Anyways, my dad used to always say, if you want to make demands, or excuse me, if you want to be in demand, you have to essentially what he was saying was like, if you want to make demands, you have to first be in demand. That's what he was saying. I almost messed that up. We're gonna blame that on.
So get it out. Take your time.
We're gonna blame that on champagne. You know. Anyways, but no, if you wanna make demands, you have to first be in demand. And he would always say that in reference to our grades, because when we was in school, he was like, you know, if you get a scholarship, or if your grades are good, people are gonna offer you money, as opposed to if they're not, or if they're mediocre, if they're run of the mill, just like everybody else, then you're going to have to be grateful when somebody accepts you. And I was like, nah, I'm playing ball. I don't gotta be that smart. As long as I play ball, I'll be straight. I'm young. You think you're young, you think you're invincible. Then you get 4 concussions. Then your ankles start rolling, and then like everything just your body starts.
Here we go, guys. I didn't make it to the league because.
Oh no, I knew I was not going to the league. I thought I was gonna at least go D2 and still get a good education. That was my only thought. I knew I wasn't going to the league, but nonetheless, I got that senioritis, and I thought like it ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna touch the stove. The stove don't look hot. And then what happened? I end up at a JUCO for a year. Before I didn't even have grades good enough to get accepted into, you know what I'm saying, USC off the rip type, you know what I'm saying? So because of that is one of those things where it's like, I just feel like mistakes, I'm gonna stand on this probably till I die. I feel like mistakes and the lessons that other people, or the game that other people give you, are probably 1A, 1B, but I would argue that mistakes are first for me, and then, you know, game that the OGs give you be second. As far as my biggest lessons overall, but.
So what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that you've had to make that you really learned from?
Man. I'm gonna just say the one off. I'm gonna say something that come off the top of my head as opposed to the biggest. Because if you asking the biggest, that's a weighty question. Mistakes that I've learned from for sure would obviously be that what you know matters more than who you know.
What you know always matters more than who you know?
That's a mistake.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've and even putting a caveat under that, sometimes like you sharing what you know, it's not always a good thing. It's not always a good thing.
What do you mean by that?
I give you a prime example. Let's say you're in an argument with somebody. We'll make it hypothetical. You're in an argument with someone, and the argument is based off of the fact that something you did with good intentions rubbed them the wrong way. So if you want to put something that you did, let's say what's something? What would be a good example of you doing or saying something that might rub somebody the wrong way?
You don't want me to say nothing on camera.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking. Let's see. Okay. All right. Boom. Let's. I'm just gonna put. We're gonna put together a whole hypothetical situation here. You buy somebody a rose, right?
Okay.
Buy somebody a rose. You say, you know what, they had a hard day. I'm gonna give them a rose. You give them that rose, and they get pissed. They get livid. Why? Because roses are attached to death of somebody that they closely care about. They get pissed, and you like, I was trying to be nice. I thought this was something that was going to be something I'm trying to help with. Not only are you trying to help them, you're trying to be more cognizant of ways to pour into somebody else's cup, because that's a thought process or something that you've noticed in yourself that you need to work on. Mm-hmm. So now not only are you like getting upset that they don't like your gift, but you're getting defensive because you're trying to be better. And so when you get defensive, the first thing that you are inclined to do is what? Defend yourself.
Okay.
In that moment, that person that got that rose, they don't want to hear nothing about what you got going on and what you're trying to do. They don't care. They just know that they hurt and what you did hurt them and you being inconsiderate. Okay. That's how they see it. So in that moment, like what you know is not good. It's no good. It has no weight. Because all they want to do is relinquish that pain. They want to run away from whatever that issue is. And going back to the more overarching perspective, with what you know is not as good as who you know, like relationships in corporate America matters so much more than qualifications.
Facts.
And I've seen it firsthand. And I don't even think I really need. I mean, you can drop the mic on that. You can drop the mic on that for real.
Yeah, no, that's facts. For sure. I think, yeah, in the sense of like what you're saying, I agree with that 100%. And I think for me, it's not complete. I don't think if it's related or what, but it goes into like relationships and knowing things. So, like for me, I see a lot of people, I think, this is my thing, like it's better, for a long time I wanted to be liked, right? And in that, like, you can't always be liked and respected. And a lot of the world tells you to value being liked over respected. And in that, when you're striving to be liked by everybody, you're going to show up different in every different space. Right? You're never going to stand on business in the sense of like, I'm going to be who I am no matter what. Because you want people to like you. And for a long time, I think I was caught up in that trap of we're doing a vulnerable and open space here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I was caught up in like, this is who people expect me to be. This is who people want me to be. So I'm going to be that person. This is what they like. Right? Not necessarily what I like putting out or like who I want to be, but I got caught up in that for so long of just like, this is who they want me to be. And that was really detrimental. And I think it set me back a long time of just like sacrificing my real values and morals and things like that for being popular or being cool or whatever, or showing up in these spaces how they expect me to show up, right? And when you get away from that, it's a shocker, and you lose a lot of people, to be honest, in the sense of like, I want you to be this person. I don't want to be that person no more. And that's fine. Like, we can distance ourselves at this point, right? When I started kind of putting out more of like stuff I really care about, like it really hurt me, to be honest. People were like, I didn't think you cared about stuff like this. I didn't think you cared about anything for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just always was this way.
Wow.
Right. And that really hurt me because people who were close to me knew, you know, what I really valued and things like that, what I cared about, interests that I had. But when people were like shocked, they're like, wow, you care about something beyond surface level bull.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, okay, I have obviously not been putting out, you know, what I think I have or like what I want to, who I want to be.
It kind of made you check yourself.
Right. right? Had definitely meet with myself, like, okay, like talking to the man in the mirror kind of thing of like, what are you putting out? People can only perceive what you're putting out.
So how do you process, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do this for your acceptance, but I'm gonna say this or do this because this is my truth. This is who I am. How hard was that when you realize the rooms is changing at that point? The people in the room is changing, that is.
It was real hard, I think, and like it's hard because your circle is gonna get smaller, right? And honestly, the way the world is set up, the way people think, the way society's set up, if your circle is getting smaller, you're realistically probably doing something right.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I've always said if you got haters, then you're probably doing something right. You know? Mama always told me if you got more friends you can count on one hand, somebody ain't your friend.
Damn. That's
Mama always told me that.
Hey, shout out my Dukes for real.
I'm saying, so like,
we love you, Connie. We love you.
hey, shout out for real. Cause when like, that's just how it is. Like if people like you, like everybody's not gonna like you. And that's okay. They can respect it. They can respect who you are as a person. Who do you want to be? But in processing that, it's like, I'm going to lose some folks. If I want to get to where I want to be, in that way, I'm being selfish right now. I'm like, you got to be selfish sometimes. Of like, I'm doing this for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm doing this for me. This is not for y'all. This is not for my family. This is not for my friends. This is for me.
Gotta be selfish.
Facts.
So everything you're saying, a lot of people don't like conscious rap nowadays. But Killer Mike's album dropped recently. That was a great album too. Loved it. A lot of people, you know, feel how you want to feel. There's this one song called Run. It's got Thug on it. Young Thug on it.
Listen to that.
And Dave Chappelle is on the intro skit. I believe that's Dave Chappelle. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comments. But he's talking about like being somebody in life, trying to accomplish and be successful in life is like storming a beach. When you're storming a beach in a war, you a sitting target. Everybody that's on that land sees you coming. And so when they see you storming that beach, they gonna open fire. And it's like, you ain't guaranteed to not get hit. You ain't guaranteed to not have nobody that get hit fall on you and you down. And like, it's no guarantees, but as long as you not getting hit, you gotta keep running. And he goes on to say, everybody's always secret. Are you out here trying to be perfect? Like, nobody asked you to be perfect. They just asked you to be honest. And I think that plays exactly into what you just said. Like that is something that I'm still trying to grasp it. I've grown up throughout my entire life in spaces that are all performance based. You only as good as the next thing. I played the drums at church. I was the PK kid. Like, you know, Easter speeches, was in drama in high school, playing basketball in school, news industry now. You only as good as your next performance. So like, at that point, are you more focused on performing and doing well? Are you more focused on being you and being genuine? And that's something that I'm just now really starting to like it's really starting to become more of a tangible thing, and it's starting to materialize more for me now than it probably ever has, if I'm being 100% honest. Because I've always done things with the caveat of like, I hope that don't make people feel bad, or I hope that don't, you know what I'm saying, X, Y, Z. But it's just like, bruh, I got to keep running. We storming the beach.
I mean, what you just described is simulation. Not to sound crazy, you know, but that's like, hear me out. Kanye says some crazy things. He does.
Oh, God.
He says some crazy things that people like, I take the meat and spit out the bones with everything. I'm not a Kanye advocate or anything like that. I'm not. But you can, like I said, you can learn something from anybody.
Okay. You can learn something from
anybody.
Okay.
And he was saying, like, you know, in the sense of a simulation, not like I'm not looking at it like the Matrix or nothing like that, but in the sense of like, you're from the time you were born, you start to be brainwashed into what everybody else tells you should be. And you never really taught to think for yourself. right? And to move on your own accord. And the example he used and what he was saying was like this couch, right? You two, and you jump on the couch, and somebody says, "Don't do that. The couch ain't for jumping." Why is the couch not for jumping for real?
Somebody said it was for sitting.
Because we said it was for sitting. Because somebody said it's not for jumping, so it's not for jumping. But if you want to run your life saying couches are for jumping for you, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's against the grain. Mama might slap you. If that's how you want to run your life, that's how you want to run your life. And that's just an analogy, of course. But like, yeah, you have to, we are constantly being brainwashed and conditioned into saying like, think like everybody else, move like everybody else.
Would you say corporate does that?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Even.
Yeah, I would say so.
I have a.
Go with what's safe. Go with the safe option. Go with what we know works.
So, hear me out.
Okay.
I have to go there. This is me. This is what I do. I have to go there. Everything in this country is rooted in white supremacy. Hear me out. Even the way corporate America is working, like anything working in America, corporate America, blue collar jobs, all of these things are set up in a very slavery mentality down to its core. And that's on all levels. And I say this in the sense, we can go from top to bottom, bottom to top. On the bottom, first of all, working class ain't nothing but slavery.
Working class is slavery.
It's slavery. And I say that to say, what did slaves do? Work all day, work all night. For what? What do they get in compensation? They didn't get compensated. What do they get out of that? Food to eat and a place to stay. What are most Americans, not people who went and got vocation skills and people who went to school and got degrees and who have higher paying jobs, but the average American for real, what do they have? They just have enough to eat and a roof over their head.
Keep going. I'm following.
It's slavery.
I'm following you.
It's slavery. And then when you go higher up into like corporate America, like, yeah, maybe we in a house now. But it's still like that very white supremacist attitude. Even when you look at like being organized and like what that means and what professional means and all of these things, it's not rooted in anything for the BIPOC community. It's all in like white supremacist standards of what professional looks like, what organized looks like, all of these things, right? It's all from top to bottom. Just remnants of slavery, dog.
I respect what you're saying. I want to keep going, but we've been going for a little while now. We probably gonna have to add this to another episode, or maybe make a part 2 if we need to.
40 minutes now? Go ahead.
Yeah, but we've been going for a little stroke. I want to wrap up with this question. You know, a lot of times on the road to greatness, on the road to success, on the road to accomplishing different goals in life, you can develop what I've called, or what I've come to call, blind spots.
What's a blind spot?
So blind spots, if you was in a car and you was about to bust a right, and you looked over your shoulder and you didn't see nobody because the stanchion in the car is blocking that viewpoint, that's a blind spot, right? Mm-hmm. Blind spot in real time or in real life for most people is like, it's areas where you need work that you can't see. Areas where you can't, where you could see or where other people see opportunity for you to get better at that you can't see. So I'm asking you, what are some areas that you think I need to get better in that I probably don't always see? What's my blind spots?
Your blind spots.
I'm gonna just leave it there. I was gonna get a little more. I was gonna put more parameters on it, but I'm gonna just leave it there.
It's in general. What are your blind spots? I think a big one, I would say, that I just think of just that would might translate into all aspects of life would be consideration in the sense that you are hard-headed at times, right? And it's really easy, and I didn't talk about being selfish, right? And I can see that you're transitioning into this period of, I want to do more things for me. I want to do like what's best for Derek. And that is good, but also it's dangerous at times in the sense that you still want to move for yourself with consideration for others, right? Because your actions still do affect other people. That makes sense? Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
That's yeah.
That's a genuine response. I agree 1,000%. And we got real time, recent examples of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get better. So me trying to get better is attached to, my thought process behind that. And so like it's attached to that action. So when I give you that action and then you like, ew, like, bro, go on. Like, I ain't got time for that. Or like, I can't even believe that you would, or it's just like the complete opposite reaction of what I thought it was gonna be. I'm like, hey, yo, like, I'm trying to work. I'm trying to be better. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to create or propel this new version of self-growth. And that's how you took that? Nah, you tripping. I was just trying to do that, and it's like, ain't nobody care about that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like being more considerate is that's a good one. I'm gonna work on that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna work on that. I need to work on that.
Give it to me straight, Doc.
Oh, okay? I wasn't gonna give it to you if you ain't asked.
Go ahead, give it to me straight.
Your blind spots. I would say your biggest blind spot right now is the one that you probably been working on a little bit more, and that's just discipline and consistency. And when I call it a blind spot, like I'm calling it a blind spot not because you don't know that it's not there. You know that it's there. You know there's something you need to work on. I don't think that you really realize the magnitude of how much it plays and how much it can transmit into different areas of life. You have a very like, I want to get bigger, I'm gonna do arms. I want to get a better job, I'm working on my resume, But the lesson in that is like, in order to get bigger arms, in order to get a better resume, there's a calendar year of time that goes into doing the same thing over and over again, well and reliable, that then plays into, okay, now my arms is 20 inches as opposed to 15. Or now, my resume is almost 2 pages instead of only going to half. I'm not saying that his is only going to half. It's not. It's much better than that. I'm just, it's examples. These examples, okay? But,
what you say?
But I like, at this point in our lives, the one thing that I've probably realized, and the one thing that's been told to me by multiple people that I either have taken mentorship from or just have worked with that have been a little more experienced in the space, is that you got to fall in love with the routine and you got to fall in love with the work of it all. And I feel like you are the type of person that like once you weed out or trim off that last little bit of baby fat, that mental baby fat, I would say, like it's over with. It's over with. Boy, all right, we done. This
I just missed my mouth. We good.
Oh my God. Hey, listen, y'all. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us. I think this is a good one.
This is definitely a good one.
More to come. There's gonna be a lot more to come. Y'all make sure y'all like this video, comment anything that you got to say on any of these topics that we talked about. We covered a good bit of stuff. Comment on anything that you felt kind of resonated with you, anything you might want to push back on. Comment if you want to hop on. You know what I'm saying? We love to have guests. We love to have anybody that's willing to, you know, talk about whatever topics is pinging to them in their minds right now. But of course, you know what I'm saying? We want to provide this space as a space for three things. I'm not going to take credit for this, but it's something that I'm going to use and we're going to run with it. I was watching Know For Sure is the name of the podcast, and shout out B Simone in the Know For Sure podcast. I can't remember the other beautiful woman's name as well, but they said that they said that there's a difference between honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. Because honesty is something where you're just telling the truth. You can be truthful, you can tell somebody like it is, and that can create a whole nother can of worms. Transparency is letting someone see who you are. You know, the type of person you are, or the type of things you like to do, type of places you like to go. Being transparent. But vulnerability is offering up information or truths about yourself that nobody would know if they never asked, or if you never offered it, I should say. And I think that's what we need for this space. We need a space for all three of those. We need a space to where you can tell people like it is. This is gonna be a space where you can show people what you really like, how you really feel, and a space where you can share some hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? No matter if it's warranted, whether we ask for it or not. It's a space to do that, and a space where you won't be judged or, you know what I'm saying, burned at the stake for it. So of course, like I said, this is the first episode, I should say, first of many for Champagne Delight. I'm Derek, it's Raekwon. We out of here till next time.